what you need to know is Connecticut is now going to be ground zero because they went, Colorado, a gun-friendly state, started making it harder for gun rights in Colorado. What I want you to know is all emotion right now. The left is very good at emotion. What they do is they do things like the march that they just had. Nancy Lefkowitz was one of the persons. Nancy Lefkowitz is a VP for Talent Relations. She's in the theater. Meg Staunton is a partner at KarmaQuest Productions, and she specializes in developing family-oriented theater. Okay? They brought in a clergy person, a woman from Connecticut, and guess what? Her background is drama. Okay, so they're producing emotion because emotion, for a short time, overrides logic. And the further we get away from the emotion, the better off we are. But since they have their tactics, we should have our tactics as well. And by the way, why Colorado and then Connecticut is important is because they are going to use it as a stepping stone for national policy, national strategy. Okay? So after you get a certain amount of states changing their gun laws, it'll be easier to take it as a national. They work in incremental steps. Go to the state reps, like with Chris Murphy, his event tomorrow, at their events, and give them our emotional story. You know, mention that we know 2 women that were murdered. And what part of the Constitution don't you understand when the Second Amendment says that you have a right to bear arms?
At the time, I had the distinct advantage of outranking everybody in the classroom and carrying a sidearm. I still carry a sidearm, but rank no longer has its privileges. Here, we're all equals. Whether we are speaking before a group of like-minded individuals like ourselves, or whether we're speaking in front of a town hall meeting or in front of a legislature, we are all equals. Nobody in that room has any authority or rank over you. You are just as good as they are. And they have no more authority over you than you have over them. It's perfectly natural to be a bit nervous when you go up and speak before a group of people. No matter how many times you do it, you always get a little bit nervous. Pretend to be self-confident when you address these groups of people. Look people in the eye, look around the room. Speaking is like singing. That voice doesn't come from up here, it comes from down here. Reach down into your gut and project your voice out. Look at the people, make yourself heard, and that's all I wanted to do, was give a little bit of advice on speaking, because there's so many people who I've had, and others have had a very difficult time hearing, and after 30 or 40 years of gunfire and heavy equipment and machinery and hand tools, it gets a little difficult to hear sometimes. So that's just a little something I wanted to share with you guys this evening. Thank you.
Man, regarding how to address some of these people. I was up in Hartford for the committee hearings as well. I did not speak, but however, what I did do is I spent time in the hallways and I made sure I engaged the people on the other side of the argument. I talked to Nancy Lefkowitz personally, Meg Stanton personally, Neil Heslin, and I didn't go up there to challenge them. I just went up there to say, hello, my name is Mike Donnelly, I'm a gun owner, I'm not a monster, all right? I feel deeply convicted about what happened in Newtown, and I too want to solve the problem. I didn't get in their face with a lot of technical stuff. I just wanted to let them know, you know what? I'm a fellow American that's concerned as well, and I care too. And they were grateful for that. They really were. She said to me, we had not had that yet, meaning their organization had not been approached by somebody from our side of the aisle in the hallway. And she was grateful for the civil discourse. And, I kind of walked into the whole thing just agreeing to disagree, but just to let them know that, we're not the evil gun guys, and it's not, we're not, perpetuating this problem. And it was very enlightening for me. And I also took the opportunity to spot my fellow representative up there. And I said, I walked up to him, his name was Larry Cafaro, I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut. And I said, hey, Larry, Mike Donnelly, you represent me in Norwalk. Got a few minutes? What's he going to say to that, right? Sure, we spent a good solid 15 minutes talking about, my side of the house and what his thoughts were. And not only that, but I followed him up. He had another meeting the following day down in my town, and we caught wind of last minute. And I cornered him there too, and we talked about it. And I just want to let everybody know it's very empowering to not have this, torrent of technical information, coming out of me for a change, because I tend to want to do that when I get somebody from the other side. And it was very nice to just walk up to him and introduce myself as a fellow American that is concerned about this problem. So thanks. I appreciate you guys putting up with me. Thank you very much.
I went to the meeting, the town hall meeting that Elizabeth Estes gave, and she was asked about Fast and Furious. And her answer to the person that said that to her was, I wasn't there then. So perhaps these postcards would be a very good thing, very good message to send to Washington and Hartford about maybe they're being too fast and furious on us, and they need to answer for Fast and Furious.
Magazine, and don't use them. It's the wrong language. Speaking your words. Assault rifle sounds scary, and that's the way they want you to talk. They want us to sound scary. So don't let them manipulate the way you speak. Thank you.
Hi folks, my name is Beth and I'm from Waterbury, and the fourth Wednesday of every month is the Waterbury Zoning and Planning Committee meeting. And right now there's zoning up, as the CCDL was kind enough to post to Facebook, about an indoor gun range that is somebody wants to open in Waterbury. So if you're from the area, it would be awesome if I wasn't the only one not affiliated with the range getting up and saying, hey, it makes economic sense. And that was what I said at the last zoning meeting. And there was actually another person that came, his name is Jay, and I don't see him here, but the two of us got up and said, hey, it makes economic sense. He said he'd patron it, but I think that's what you're talking about local issues that we can affect.
Is that range still supposed to be at the same spot?
No, they moved it to East Aurora Street. It was near a school and the...
Separated by a fence and then a river and then a fence?
Correct.
Right.
Yes. And they were saying that perhaps children wouldn't be safe, and then they were saying perhaps, they'd incur some lead damage and all these, phantom issues. But it would be nice to see folks at the zoning meetings supporting local initiatives like this. Because if we can get a range, a local range, an indoor range in Waterbury, that would be great for the economy. We generate more goodwill and more awareness that we
A very good argument you have if you go to the Waterbury meeting is, the one thing, we actually were almost 50-50 with the council because it had already been approved at that current location. The one thing we kept hearing was, well, what about if we move it to a different location? Meaning, they're trying to give us the bums Russians just to get it out of the way and say, forget about it. Now you can use the argument, okay, y'all all said at another location, we're here. Now what's the argument? And
right, and I'm not affiliated